For younger agents or just starting out, what advice would you give to them?
I would say find a great mentor. Find a great company that's going to support you, and let you do what you're best at. Don't expect that you're going to get your first sale within the first 6 months. So one thing that I tell people is that if you're thinking about getting into real estate, make sure you've got enough savings in your bank to sustain yourself for the next 6 to 12 months, because you never know where your listing's going to come from, especially if you've got no contacts. Like me coming into in New Zealand, I had no one. A lot of times people get into real estate thinking I've got freedom, I can have a work-life balance. But that's not really the case. If you really want to be one of the top agents, and obviously we talk about this all the time, like getting to that level where you're, $1 million agent, it takes and it requires a lot of your time and work. People think that you can get there overnight, but that's not how it happens.
Sha Jega, welcome to Next Gen Agent.
Thank you, Matt. It's a pleasure to be here.
That's good. How long have you been a real estate agent now?
An agent, it's been 2 years.
2 years?
Yeah, I've completed my second financial year this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Has it gone quick or slow?
It's gone fast.
Yeah.
But it's been great. I actually enjoy what I do, so it's a pleasure to be in this business.
Nice.
Yeah.
And what were you doing prior to the real estate life?
Good question. I always came from a background of sales. So I worked in a retail department for a very long time. Probably from uni, I was doing part-time, and then I quite quickly went into a regional manager within 4 years of working for them. So I did that for a very long time, and then decided to come back to Christchurch. That was in Auckland. So
Okay. What did you study?
I did media and communication.
Okay. So you studied that in Auckland?
No, so I started in Christchurch, did that, got offered a regional position, moved to Auckland, did that after uni, and then came back to Christchurch.
Okay. And then you joined
Najib. Yeah. So going back. So I did 4 years in retail in Christchurch, went to Auckland, did a year there.
Yeah.
And then I was trying to come back to Christchurch because I wanted to get my permanent residence. So I needed to come and get out of Auckland to come here. And then I had a friend that reached out to me. It all happened with timing. It's just incredible how the universe works.
Yeah.
But someone reached out to me who was working at Najib at that time and said, hey, I've got a great company that I think you'd really fit in. So you should come in, come and interview.
Yeah.
And I said, okay. And at that time, believe it or not, I actually had an offer with Flight Centre. Thank God I didn't, go down that road.
Oh, yeah, with COVID and everything too. Jeez.
Because after a year they went, they closed shop basically for a while. So, I came for the interview and sat down with Nathan, and I guess the rest is history.
The rest is history. And you started out as a property manager, right?
I started out, I had a contract to be, started out to be a business development manager.
Okay.
But when I had no idea what I was getting into, first of all. Like, I had no idea what real estate was, because I think real estate as well, from where I come from, which is Malaysia, it's not a big, talked about subject, whereas in New Zealand, that's what everyone and anyone always talks about is real estate, right?
Yeah.
So I had no idea what it was about. And then I sat down with Nathan and we said, okay, why don't we just start from scratch? And I went from reception to property manager, business development manager. From that, I saw how Nathan was performing as an agent, and I said, you know what, I want to do that.
Yeah.
So he trained me up to become an agent eventually.
Yeah. With the Shah at 18 starting uni, if I said you're going to be a real estate agent, would have you believe me?
No. Well, at that time, I knew I had a strength, which was obviously doing media and communication was always something I loved. So talking to people, getting to know people.
Yeah.
you know, if it wasn't real estate, it probably would have been journalism, which I'm glad I'm not in. But yeah, I had to do something with people. So
Yeah.
I guess I would have half laughed.
Yeah. I think you picked a good career path because it sounds like, journalism and then like flight center. It was a good choice.
Yeah.
The universe, like you said, it was in your favor. So
Exactly. Yeah, I felt like somehow it just guided me here because I remember when I was in Auckland thinking about my career and trying to decide what was going to happen, where I was going next. I remember this car ride with my husband and I said, you know what, why don't I think about real estate? It was just like a glimpse of a conversation and it just dropped with like 5-second conversation. That was it.
Yeah.
Like, and then here I am.
And then here you are. Yeah. So like when you were working at Najib and you were seeing how Nathan operates, what was it about real estate? You obviously like working with people, but was there anything else that attracted you to it?
Yes. Seeing Nathan and how he interacted with his clients and the kind of service that we were giving, I think that to me was like, wow, seeing how you can make someone feel after a transaction and after a sale, it's like, oh gosh, you made that happen.
Yeah, and it's from both sides, right? You get the buyers and the sellers. You get two happy couples or two happy people,
Yeah, and then when being such earlier on in my career with seeing how, Nathan ran the open homes, how he was talking to people, how, he kept in contact with all his clients.
Yeah.
And I was going to all these dinners and things with him at that time too, because obviously he's trying to train me to become an agent, right? So seeing how all of that just made me realize, like, actually that's the kind of individual I want to be and that's the kind of person I want to become.
Yeah.
So quite quickly I was like, you know what, Nathan, I need you to be my mentor and we're gonna do this. We're gonna go into becoming an agent.
Nice.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that kind of like development in terms of, you were a regional manager. You obviously had a lot of great skills, but being a real estate agent, it's kind of completely different, right? In a sense, like, yes, you're working with people, but me and Nathan talk about this a lot in the podcast, mindset. What did you have to develop to become like a really good real estate agent? Like what skills, what traits? Yeah.
Good question. Wow. How do we dive into that? Okay. I guess starting off, firstly, there was a few bad habits that I used to have that I had to cut off.
What were they?
I remember this very clearly because it's such a funny story now thinking about it. But when I was a property manager, Nathan saw me one day bringing fast food into the office.
Yeah. I've never seen fast food in this office, I don't think. Yeah.
Never, right? And I was the rebel at that time and bring Macca's and sneak it into my office.
Yeah.
And Nathan just stared at me and looked at me and he was like, okay, first thing we're going to do is cut this. We're going to stop drinking Coke. We're going to stop eating fast food. Because, I mean, as a regional, that was my life. Like, I used to go from store to store on the road from one store to the next. And I live on fast food.
Yeah.
Because that was quick.
Yeah.
So that was my first one-on-one lesson with Nathan of never bringing fast food to the office and not eating fast food, at least not as a meal weekly. Now it's like cut down to once in 3 months maybe.
Yeah. So you changed your diet.
Yeah. So
that was a good start.
Yeah, it was a great start. Good lesson. So changed my diet. Got into gymming. I was gymming quite a bit at that time too, but got into fitness a lot more.
Because you're strong. You can do 25 press ups.
Yeah, well, it takes time to get there.
Yeah, it's impressive.
No, it's good. Well, I'm pretty happy with obviously the results, and obviously that's come with 4 or 5 years. It's 5 years now since I've been at Najib, so improving myself. But yeah, so diet, fitness. There's one thing that we always talk about as well, and it's part of I guess Najib and Nathan's values, which is health, but health in a more internally. So like spiritually, mentally, physically, that kind of health was very important. And Nathan used to talk to me about that every single day. Like every session we had, he'd emphasize on that. And he'd tell me like, if you want to be the best, you cannot sacrifice any of this. Like, you need to get yourself right before you can go out and help and serve people.
Yeah.
So I took that quite seriously, and I think that to me actually changed my life. When I started doing all of that, I started realizing how the universe was helping me get to my goals faster.
Yeah.
And that is, I think, one of my core values now, where health is very, very important, so mentally.
Yeah, I can't remember the quote that Nathan says, but he's like, if you feel good inside, like yourself, you're mentally sound, then you can go out and kind of serve people and help
100%.
people. But if you're feeling, stressed, that comes out of you, and that's how you deal with clients.
Exactly.
And then the response you get is bad.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, and people can tell.
Yeah.
There's so many things that we've worked on, both Nathan and myself. He's watched me grow within this time. So he's the person that's always advising me and telling me, okay, this is the place that we can improve on, which I feel, has helped me in my career. And it's fast-tracked my career because, a lot of times people can tell you, do this. But if you don't have that mentor that's keeping you accountable and someone that's constantly watching with the best interests, then you kind of lose track of your own goals.
Yeah.
So that's always kind of stuck with me. So I guess coming back to your question is, what's really different with the change from being a regional to sales?
Yeah.
I think the mental game, the food, what type of food I've been eating, and then just exercising.
Yeah.
And working on myself.
And working on like that kind of inner health, like you said. Yeah.
Yeah.
The mental side. Is there anything, because I know Nathan, he obviously, he's a great mentor and he has kind of a blueprint. He helps teach you certain skill sets. Is there any skills that you've learned along the way that's important to be a real estate agent?
Oh, so many.
Yeah. Like what would you say your top two are?
Gosh.
You can do more than that.
Yeah, I could do more. But
yeah.
I think it's just that to become a good salesperson, one, obviously you need to be a good negotiator and a good listing presentation. Like your listing presentation has to be good.
Yeah.
Right. And that till today, we still work on it because, you want to get to a 9 or a 10.
Yeah.
Ideally. Yeah. But I think those are the two skills that we constantly till today work on. It's just prospecting, listing, negotiating.
Yeah.
Those are the 3 things that an agent should always be focusing on.
Yeah.
And it just comes back to those skills.
Okay.
And how do we, how do we prospect? What kind of people are we prospecting? Negotiations. I just finished a negotiation.
How did it
just
go?
Now. It was, I'm used to it now, but that is a skill on its own. And after seeing Nathan do it multiple times, now I can do it without.
How has that changed though from like your first negotiation? Like how did you feel and how did you approach it to now?
Yeah. Well, I go into it a lot more confident than I did before. I used to always get scared or nervous, not knowing how to respond to, someone not being happy about the price, for instance. And that's really important now, right? Because as we're kind of seeing how the market's shifting, vendors' expectation versus buyers, and to close the gap, now that's the biggest skill, the most important skill, I would say, to brush up.
Yeah.
So that was pretty interesting. Now going into negotiations, I feel a lot more confident. Like I know the market really well, and that's something that as an agent you need to study and know, because if you don't know it, then like what are you doing?
It's true. And like we always talk about specializing, knowing an area.
Yeah.
And if you're talking to clients and you don't know what's happening in the market, then they're not going to feel confident in you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So being confident, knowing your stuff, and then advising accordingly. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Take me through. You've been doing real estate now 2 years. 2nd year, sorry. Yeah.
This will be my 3rd.
Third year, sorry. Take me through a time. Maybe this didn't happen, right? When you wanted to maybe quit? Yeah. Or like your most challenging time and like what you were thinking in the moment and what you did to get out of it.
Yeah. Well, Nathan and I spoke about this last week. When was the last time I thought about quitting? Wow. It was a while back
Yeah.
now. But there are times where you feel like, all the work that you're doing, is it going to result to what you want in life? But I think that's where that mindset is so important, because you need to get yourself out of that ditch quite quickly.
Yeah.
If not, you're going to be stuck there and it's going to ruin your whole day. So I think, just having a really strong mind helps with those moments where I am feeling like that.
Yeah.
But to be honest, like, I do love what I do, so I don't think there's anything out there for me to do apart from real estate.
Yeah.
So not often do I feel like quitting, but it is hard. Like, real estate is not easy.
Yeah.
It's challenging. You have days that you feel, why am I making this many phone calls and not getting anything? But out of all those phone calls, there is that one moment that results to, oh, okay, there's a lead, there's a listing that's coming through from here. So, yeah.
And that's all you need sometimes in real estate is like 1 or 2 listings, right?
Yeah.
Get the momentum.
Yeah.
But you're like so disciplined, like every day, you're in your sauna.
Yeah. I like my hot room.
In your sauna, just like calling, prospecting, and
Yeah.
that's what you need to do, right?
Yeah. And it comes back to the basics. And again, like, I've learned that from Nathan. Like, when I started even as an admin, I used to see him in the phone, like, with his headphones, like, just making phone calls consistently.
Yeah.
And he'd get so annoyed if someone disturbed him at that hour when he's prospecting, because that's where we make our money. Like, that is our time. And if you get out of that routine, it actually does mess up with your whole prospecting time. Because it takes like 20, 30 minutes to get back into a routine after, you've come out of it. So when you're prospecting from 9 to 12, and if someone's interrupted you or if you interrupt yourself, it takes so long to get back onto it.
Such as the marketing team being annoying in the office.
That's why I got to have my sauna.
Yeah, no,
my
it makes,
sauna room.
I get it. I heard you say the other day, like, I don't want to take a day off because kind of will lose that momentum. And
Yeah, especially in so early on in your career. Like, for me, 2 years, I'm so grateful that I've been, it comes back to all my mentorship. But 2 years, I've done pretty well for myself. Obviously, there's so much more that I need to do and I need to get to. But I think having that routine, that religious time where I'm like, I am going to make my prospecting calls from this time to this time. No one disturb me. And then going out for appointments after. So just having that routine is so important as an agent.
Can you talk about that, maybe a bit of a brief on your routine? Like a common day in Sha's world?
Yeah, I feel like it's so normal now that it's part of me.
I think it's important for people to hear, though.
Yeah. No,
because you've been doing this, not really, you're quite early in your career, right? But you've been very successful so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So what is, your routine, a normal day?
Well, first of all, waking up in the morning. I wake up now before my alarm, which is great. So 4:45, 4:50.
Yeah.
And then my alarm usually goes off at 5. So I'm up. I'll meditate for 5-10 minutes. I'll get ready to go to the gym. I'll take my dog for a walk first because he needs his exercise too.
Whiskey.
So I'll take her for a walk and then I'll go to the gym. I'll come back, get ready, and I'll be in the office at about 7:45, 8.
Yeah.
Then we have our morning catch up in the mornings, just seeing how the sales are going, how the results are.
Yeah.
Then I get into my prospecting. So from 9 to 12, I usually do at that time 2 45-minute sessions, which till like recently, Nathan and I sat down and we actually came up with a proper plan because I used to just make phone calls willy, just picking up the phone and trying to reach my target number. But now just having actual 45-minute blocks. So 45 minutes on the phone, 10-minute break, 45 minutes on the phone.
Yeah.
And then I now get up to 100 phone calls a day.
Okay.
So that's my goal.
Yeah.
100 phone calls a day.
Nice. How did
And
how did it change? Sorry, just going back to, Nathan saying you used to just pick up and try and get your cool target.
Yeah.
Are you being a bit more strategic about it now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going through every suburb now and like
Okay.
just really finding the core areas that I need to call, having a reason for me to call them, and then providing value.
Yeah.
So that structure has just given me a lot more confidence as well when I'm picking up the phone. It's like I know what I'm picking up this phone for.
Yeah.
I know what I'm going to talk to them about.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas before, I'd get really scared and I'd be like, I'm just checking in.
Yeah. It's like,
I just want
how's
to
your
know.
wife?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then, it resulted to not getting any appraisals. So
yeah.
just fine tuning, even that's what I mean, right? As an agent, you're always improving. You're always finding ways to be better. And
Yeah.
and I guess you're always gonna have to try to figure a best way that works for you as well. And being early on in my career, it's just great to have that person tell me how it is as well.
Yeah.
Like sometimes when I'm mucking around, Nathan's like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
So it's great that I think for me having that person, one, and two, having a routine and structure just makes me know that at the end of the day, I'm going home and I've done all I can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. So sorry, I interrupted though.
Yeah. So
we did the prospecting till
prospecting,
12.
yes,
Yeah.
until 12. And then if I've got meetings and appointments and listing presentations the afternoon, if I don't have a meeting on that day, then I just continue doing my phone calls throughout the day. Yeah, just booking a meeting. Yeah.
Nathan calls it educating.
Yes.
Yes.
Educating clients.
Educate. And he stopped saying prospecting.
Yeah.
Yeah. It makes sense though, like what you just said, like you actually have a reason to call them.
Yes.
And you're providing, I'm sure, value to them.
Yeah.
And then like if I'm answering the phone as a potential client, I'm like, oh, Sha kind of knows me. She's given me some information about the market.
Yeah.
I'll let that real estate agent speak because most times I just call them like,
Yeah.
what do you want?
I know.
What
Because
do you want from
people
me?
used to tell me
Yeah.
that before. I call them like, why are you calling me? I'm like, I'm just wanting to know how you're doing.
Yeah.
Or, do you have any changes with your real estate plan? But it just felt like that I could do way better than that,
Yeah.
in a phone call. So,
And you're
yeah.
spending so much time in a week educating,
Yes.
calling.
Yeah.
So like it makes sense to fine tune it.
call,
Yeah.
yes.
And make it successful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's resulted in really good phone calls this week. So it's great.
Nice. Good to hear.
Yeah.
Let's just talk about Najib Real Estate.
Mm-hmm.
So at the moment we are recruiting for some new agents.
Yeah.
Why do you like working at Najib?
Well, it comes
Like,
back to
as a real estate agent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it comes back to having that person trust you and guide you and nurture you. I think that's quite important, right? Because a lot of times people get into real estate thinking I've got freedom, I can have a work-life balance, but that's not really the case. If you really want to be one of the top agents, and obviously we talk about this all the time, like getting to that level where you're, $1 million agent, it takes and it requires a lot of your time and work. People think that you can get there overnight, but that's not how it happens. So having someone there to push you and who believes in you
Yeah.
and knows that you can get there is why I'm, still at Najib and why I love working here as an agent. Because Nathan's one person that, he's done it, right? And he's successful. He's, taken over West Milton and, he's doing amazing there. So why change anything that he's done?
Yeah.
So I think working with someone like that who's done it, and it continuously does to serve his clients to the level that he does, is why I love working here.
Yeah. He's still like in the trenches doing everything that you do.
Exactly.
You
like
know?
on
Yeah.
Friday we went door knocking.
Exactly.
Like you would think $1 million agent doesn't do that, but we're still doing that. So I think for me personally working here is because I know that there's someone that's got my back and who wants to see me succeed and doesn't think that my goals and where I want to be is unrealistic. So
Yeah.
I think having that push is
Yeah.
great.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you have a great support network around you in terms of the sales support team. Like it allows you to focus on those skills that you said.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Like I know a lot of agents, they have to take care of their own marketing. They have to organize their own photographer, they've got to write their own text. Whereas for me, all I'm doing every day, all day is just taking care of my clients and my listings. That's selling, listing, negotiating. That's it. Everything else the team does. Like the amazing marketing team, we're trying to specialize out in Lincoln now, and we're trying to do, exactly what we've done in West Milton. And everything's taken care of for me, which is great. All I'd have to do is turn up there.
That is a good thing I see here. Like Nathan always says, focus on these 4 skills and you'll be great. But I think a lot of real estate agents, like you said, they have to do some of the copywriting, the marketing, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And it distracts from them helping their clients to their best of their ability, right?
Exactly. And I mean, that's what we're getting paid to do. Like you want to be able to have your focus on selling your client's most expensive asset. They're trusting you with it.
Yeah.
So, when they're giving it to you, all you need to do is bring them the best offer there is on the table.
Yeah.
And that's it. And that gives us the opportunity to do that because everything else at Najib is taken care of.
Yeah.
So I think that for me is very important. Like I've had people come to me and offer me, things in other agencies, but I'm like, you know what we have here is the most amazing thing that no one can replace.
Yeah.
So having everyone else have my back and everyone else take care of everything else, and me just focusing on the clients and on the sale and buyers, especially in this market, is amazing.
Yeah.
It's
awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Right, we're almost there. We're almost there. How's it been?
Not too bad.
Your second podcast.
Oh gosh. I don't know how you got me here, Matt.
Hey, you're doing great. I've actually enjoyed this. I'm learning about you. I don't really know about your background, so it's good. For younger agents or just starting out, what advice would you give to them?
I would say find a great mentor. Find a great company that's going to support you, and let you do what you're best at. Don't expect that you're going to get your first sale within the first 6 months. So one thing that I tell people is that if you're thinking about getting into real estate, make sure you've got enough savings in your bank to sustain yourself for the next 6 to 12 months, because you never know where your listing is going to come from, especially if you've got no contacts. Like me coming into in New Zealand, I had no one, so I had to obviously learn to get to know more people, which is the other great thing that Najib does is we've got an open database. So we didn't have to go out there and get all those numbers from scratch. There's actually numbers there that we can call to get us off the ground. So I think that's why I've been able to, quite quickly in my career progress, because, the database is open, you can call people, you can get to know people, you can build relationships that way. And you don't have to start from scratch. So
Nice. Save, don't expect results
overnight
or
six
even in the
months.
first 6 months, like you said. Choose an agency that's going to support you.
Yes. And let you do what you're best at, which is
what you do your best at. Nice.
Yeah.
All right, to cap it off, what's your goal in real estate? It can be revenue goals. It can be, you don't have to tell me what they are.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I think I talk about it all the time. Well, I'll talk about my personal goal and I'll talk about my business goal. My personal goal is to eventually bring my parents, who are currently in Malaysia and Sri Lanka, they're split between the two countries, here in New Zealand to live with us. And we're currently building a house even for them.
Awesome. Yeah.
So hopefully I'll be able to bring them here for good. my business goal is to become the specialist #1 agent in Lincoln.
We'll get you there.
Yeah. I know you would.
You'll get yourself there, but we'll help. We'll assist.
Yes, you will assist. I know, and that's why I feel like I'm so grateful for the amount of support and encouragement I get with our team. Like everyone's just so great. You know,
They are.
they're so supportive. Yeah.
There's some great goals, and you already just ticked one off as well with the Lincoln.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Congrats on that.
Thank you. We're finally there, but looking forward to it.
Nice. All right. Thanks, Sha. I'll wrap it up there.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah, you were the first guest on this podcast.
Yeah.
So there you go. It's just been me and Nathan talking to each other. It's been good, though. I've been enjoying it.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
All right.
I do
Thanks for listening to Next Gen Agent, everyone. Give us a like, subscribe, and we'll see you next week.
See you.